Kamaham, desire, Saha, that, Bhuya, let it be fulfilled. Naradeva, O king, Te, Yuva, Asyaha, this, Putryaha, of the daughter, Samanaya, Vidhau, in the process of the Vedic scriptures, Pratitaha, recognized, Kaha, who, Eva, in fact, Te, Yuva, Tanayam, daughter, Na Adriyeta, would not adore, Swaya, by her own, Eva, alone, Kantya, bodily luster, Shipatim, excelling, Iva, as if, Shriyam, ornaments. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Translation: let your daughter's desire for marriage, which is recognized in the Vedic scriptures, be fulfilled. Who would not accept her hand? She is so beautiful that by her bodily luster alone she excels the beauty of her ornaments. Please repeat, let your daughter's desire for marriage, which is recognized in the Vedic scriptures, be fulfilled. Who would not accept her hand? She is so beautiful that by her bodily luster alone she excels the beauty of her ornaments. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Kardama Muni wanted to marry Devahuti in the recognized manner of marriage prescribed in the scriptures. As stated in the Vedic scriptures, the first class process is to call the bridegroom to the home of the bride and hand her to him in charity with a dowry of necessary ornaments, gold, furniture and other household paraphernalia. This form of marriage is prevalent among higher class Hindus even today and is declared in the Shastras to confer great religious merit on the bride's father. To give a daughter in charity to a suitable son-in-law is considered to be one of the pious activities of a householder. There are 8 forms of marriage mentioned in the scripture Manusmriti, but only one process of marriage, Brahma or Rajasika marriage, is now current. Other kinds of marriage by love, by exchange of garlands, or by kidnapping the bride are now forbidden in this age of Kali Yuga. Formerly, Kshatriyas would at their pleasure kidnap a princess from another royal house, and there would be a fight between the Kshatriya and the girl's family. Then, if the kidnapper was the winner, the girl would be offered to him for marriage. Even Krishna married Rukmini by that process, and some of his sons and grandsons also married by kidnapping. Krishna's grandsons kidnapped Duryodhana's daughter, which caused a fight between the Kuru and Yadu families. Afterward, an adjustment was made by the elderly members of the Kuru family. Such marriages were current in bygone ages, but at the present moment they are impossible because the strict principles of Kshatriya life have practically been abolished. Since India has become dependent on foreign countries, the particular influences of our social orders have been lost. Now, according to the scriptures, everyone is a Shudra. The so-called Brahmana, Kshatriyas and Vaishyas have forgotten their traditional activities, and in the absence of these activities they are called Shudras. It is said in the scriptures, Kalo Shudra Sambhava. In the age of Kali, everyone will be like Shudras. The traditional social customs are not followed in this age, although formerly they were followed strictly. Dasansta Bhaktivedanta Purport. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshuranmilitam Ehna Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Mate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Nitinamine. ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधरा श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So the great sage Kardama Muni is now confirming here Kamasya Bhuyan Naradevatesya. Let the desire for marriage, of your daughter's marriage, let it be fulfilled. Bhuyan. Putrya samanyaya vidho pratita. Now he is appreciating, he is recognizing that who would not accept her hand. Ka evate tanayam nadriyeta, who will not accept Swayam kantya kshipatim ivastriyam, her beauty excels the beauty of her ornaments. So now Kardama Muni, he is recognizing her desire to get married according is as per Vedic scriptures. So he recognizes that the desire is as per Vedic scriptures, and so expressing such desire is not considered sinful. And since she is a qualified bride, and the father approached in a religious process, that means all the rules and regulations connected to the Varnashrama system, which was very much prevalent those days, was adhered to. And so Kardama Muni is recognizing that everything is in place in terms of the Vedic scriptures. And he is saying that Prabhupada explains in the purport that this is a first class marriage, where the bridegroom is invited to marry, and father organizes the ceremony. He gives whatever puri that is practical for him, and in a nice sacrifice. The whole ceremony is called sacrifice. Vivaha Yajna. It is meant to please the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So there is a sacrifice that is being done, and then that's how the boy and girl were asked to lead a Krishna conscious life. Yesterday in the last class we have discussed about this dowry system. It is actually meant to be a kanya stridhana, meant to be for the well-being of the bride, for the girl, so that in that long duration of life any such requirements can be fulfilled. So this is the scenario. So actually Shastra says that this body is actually an embarrassment for the soul. It is not natural, and by a very bad bargain we have got this body. If at all, if somebody wants to bargain something, generally he would bargain very nice things for himself. Maybe he can bargain some big gold and this and that, so many things he can bargain. As a spirit soul, our natural bargain should be loving devotional service to Krishna. This is our natural bargain. Intrinsically dormant it is present. this urge is present to get attracted to Krishna and also to render loving service so that he is satisfied. By seeing satisfaction in the face of God, the devotee enjoys transcendental pleasure. When he sees Krishna smiling, Guru smiling, then he derives transcendental pleasure. That is the goal. So instead of bargaining, ever increasing service to the Lord, because that is the source of his pleasure also. So that is the source of his own pleasure, rendering service to Krishna. So instead, the living entity bargains service to a dead lump of matter, that is this body. And this body is always dead, while in the so-called living sense, or in the when at the time of death, his body is always dead. Although it is always dead, it is a big animating force. It generates innumerable forces. And one of the strongest forces is this kama. Kamassa bhuyan naradeva. It goes on forcing. So the body is, in that sense, is like a machine of forces. So many forces it creates. Nectar of Instruction explains that these forces are there. Vacho vegam, manaso vegam, udaro vegam, like that. There are many vegas in this body. Although this is a dead body, but it is not like a dead body. It has a lot of force. It creates forces in us. And by following those forces, the living entity becomes implicated more and more in this world. And the biggest force is this kama, fulfilling of a desire for one's own sense enjoyment. Chaitanya Charitamrita explains kama means focused on satisfying our own senses, and prema means focus is on satisfying Krishna. So somebody who is absorbed in this kama and always disturbed by it, now how such a person can be diverted to prema? So this is the challenge, because unless attention is diverted to prema, his life will not be successful. He will live with this embarrassment. He will consider this body, instead of an embarrassment or a bad bargain, he considered the body to be a piece of pride. Everybody is very proud of his own body. And what is that pride? Everyone thinks he is very beautiful, very qualified, very intelligent, like that. They take pride in getting a body. But Shastra is saying, even if you are really very intelligent, very smart, very beautiful and all those things, even then that body is a bad bargain. It is a bad bargain. No, what to do? I have bargained already and got this body. Now it has got all these pushes, all these vegas. Now what should I do? So these are some of the methods by which the living entity's attention is gradually brought to Krishna. One of those processes is this marriage system. In the human society, fulfilling of kama is regulated. This force is there, and it is recognized that this force is there. And that's why there is a marriage system that is created in order to regulate this force, this desire for enjoyment. In animal life, there is no such marriage system because they are automatically regulated by nature. But human being has a advanced intelligence, so there is a chance to misuse. So there is a framework that is given, and that is this marriage system. So within the marriage system, there are so many rules and regulations, conditions under which one can satisfy his desires. So that means regulation. Marriage is not meant for unrestricted enjoyment. It's not a license for a loose behavior. What has to be done within the framework of marriage system, that is also been elaborately described. And so these forces are very prominent when someone is in the youth. And the Shastra recognizes that even before the puberty, the girl becomes sexually active in her mind. So that's why the marriage system was so designed that the girl was married very young, 11 years, 12 years, 10 years. And the boy would be around 16 or 18 or 20, because they recognize that this sexual appetite goes on increasing from such an age. And so that's why the girl is married early. Although she is married even before puberty, she is not allowed to mix with the husband. She is to stay with the father. But she knows that I have my husband. That very feeling that I have my husband, she goes on thinking. And she becomes attracted and attached to the boy. They create, so the marriage system is like that. It is, a well-developed, trained girl, she becomes attached to the husband's service. And gradually she was allowed to serve the husband. And like that, the relationship was built in such a way that they can never get separated whole life. Also, the psychology says the woman, if she comes in contact with a boy for the first time, and that boy she can never forget. She can never forget that boy. So that's why it's a good psychology to stay whole life together. And that's why you will see, some of these customs look very strange now in the modern world, where people start thinking to get married after 30. And then sometimes they say, why to get married? Either women or men, nowadays that's the trend. You just live together for some time, and then we are on our own. I can earn my money, Radha Govinda. I can earn my money and I can live myself. Why should I depend on this marriage system? This is the kind of mood in both the boy or the girl. They are not understanding that there is a religious implications and there is a higher goal in life. It's not about just living somehow because we have some money and somehow manage to live like an animal and that is considered successful. No. The real life means if you want to really prove yourself, then you remain in the marriage system. Once entered, one should remain whole life. That is the real challenge. Not that irresponsibly you sever the relationship and in the name of whatever. But why the whole thing is crumbling, this marriage system and everything? Because the basic goal of life is unknown. They are proud about their bodies and there is a fight about who is superior. either the man or the girl or the woman. This is the situation. Who should serve whom? Man is thinking you should serve me, and woman is thinking no, you should serve me. This is the center of the quarrel. Fully, completely focused on body, and everybody is fighting about that embarrassment. They're increasing their embarrassments. This is what is happening. Otherwise, it was such a glorious system. But from the transcendental point of view, even if somebody has a very good married life and and everything is going very well, good children, good wealth, good all this good is actually zero. Ultimately, if he doesn't develop his attachment to Krishna, his so-called peaceful married life is a waste of time, is a further embarrassment for the jiva, that he has wasted one more life, valuable life. One has to think like this. Instead of taking pride on one's own body, abilities, opulences and all that, one should know that this is an embarrassment. But what to do? Let me turn this embarrassment into my advantage. Let me turn that into a good opportunity. So this is the system. So here there is one thing is Prabhupada mentions that this form of marriage is prevalent in the society today, and it is said that this kind of a marriage, first class marriage, bring a lot of religious merit to the bride's father. That's why this Kanya, actually it's a Kanya Dai. Kanya Dai, if somebody does, there's a big merit for the father. So, the father, Dai means it's a compulsory act. So the father has to get the girl married. This is his obligation. This is his duty. This is called Kanya Dai. Dai Bhak means inheritance. It's must, compulsory, it's obligatory for the father to get the girl married. And then if he does so in a first class way, then he gains a lot of religious merit. So this Kanyadhai merit we can transcendentally get, even brahmacharis can get in the marriage of Lakshmi Narasimha or Sitaram Lakshman. Even a brahmachari can happily see these marriages, because anything in relation to Krishna is purified. And so Kardama Muni's marriage with Devahuti is also highly purifying. Whatever internally some ambitions and this and that, they all get purified by listening to the pure narrations of this marriage system. All the ignorance which is connected to marriage will be shattered. One should recognize where it stands and then accordingly do the needful. So, Lord can marry the way that he decides, or the way the devotee requests him to do so. Like last time we discussed a little bit how Lakshmi writes a letter to Krishna to kidnap her, and Krishna does that. And not only that, Prabhupada is mentioning about kidnapping of Duryodhana's daughter. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Yeah. So Duryodhana has a marriageable daughter by name Lakshmana. And then Yadus, the Krishna's own son, Jambavati's son, is known as Jambavati Sutta, Sambha. It is said that Samba is always with his mother. Sa Amba, Amba means mother, and is always with his mother. That is Samba's nature. And but he's a great hero. Samba is a great hero, he is a Maharathi, and he liked to marry Lakshmana. But then Duryodhana, they are all not interested. They organizes one Swayambhu for Lakshmana. After all, she is from Kuru dynasty, highly qualified. So many princes were, they were looking at marrying her. So they announced a Swayamvara ceremony where the bride can select her own. This is Kshatriya way of selecting the husband. And but Samba wanted to marry her, and so he comes into the Swayamvara ceremony and kidnaps Lakshmana in front of everybody and takes away. So then, the elders of Kuru, including even Arjuna, they all sat down and said, this is an insult. How dare this boy comes into our own Swayamvara and takes away our girl? So they strategize what to do. So since he has already touched the girl, now according to the system those days, nobody else would marry her. So that means they have to marry her to him only. But they think that he has to be punished. So they decide to arrest him, not to kill him. And then that's how the Kurus, the elderly Kurus, around 6 of them get together with Karna as the commander, and they go chasing this boy Samba. There is a nice description about how he fights. Samba, although he is like a boy, he is a glorious boy of Krishna. He is not ordinary person. It is said that all the sons of Krishna are as good as Krishna, as powerful as Krishna. So, but then, all the 6 warriors, without following any of the Kshatriya principles, they somehow capture him with great difficulty after a big battle. And immediately Narada Muni reaches the news to Yadus. Immediately, whole Yadu dynasty, they become very angry. How can Kurus arrest our boy? But then Balram decides, no, let us not have a fight. I will go and handle the scenario. So Balramji personally comes to Hastinapura. He stays outside the city in a garden house, and the news reaches Dhritarashtra that Lord Balaram has come. Dhritarashtra and Duryodhan, they're very attached to Balaram. They know he is our well-wisher. So they go with big offerings to Balaram to pacify him. After receiving their welcome rituals, Balramji openly tells them that, this is the order from King Ugrasena, Yadu king, that you should now release Samba along with his wife Lakshmana. Already they know that she is the wife. So then, as soon as he reveals the order of Ugrasena, then Kurus becomes very angry. They call Yadus by all ill names. How can you order us? You are subordinate to us. We are the emperors. We have allowed you to use all the royal insignia, royal symbols like a throne, umbrella, conch shell, fan, whisk, all those symbols you are using. It's only because we have given you that power to use. But now the time has come that we should take away all these symbols from you and teach you a lesson. This is the kind of tone in which Kurus respond. Actually, Kurus were unhappy that Balaramji, with such a ordering tone, he has told. Actually, if you see in this conversation, what actually made the issue was the tone of the talk. So when Balaramji said, hand over, they got hurt. Are, so much they have done, and then, he is ordering us. And then, so in our conversations also, the problems will come by the tone. may not be actually the issue, but by the tone of their voice, that changes the whole conversation. So we have to be little careful about all those. So When Kurus, make such, ill names of Yadus, and then they just walk away, they go away. And Balaram becomes very angry. Then he says, Yadus means, particularly he specifically brings the attention to Krishna. Krishna, who is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and even Lord Indra could not stop Krishna bringing Parijata tree. Even Indra is obedient to Krishna and he is worshipped by all the great sages. You mean to say you cannot use conch shell and fan and all those whisks and all those symbols? How dare? And he becomes very angry. And then he immediately decides that these people have to be shown their place. And then he immediately takes his plow and then starts dragging Hastinapura towards Yamuna. Those days it is called river Ganges. The water that is flowing there also is called Ganges. But from Hastinapura to Vrindavan, it is called Yamuna. Because Krishna has performed wonderful pastimes. So, when Kurus understand that there is something like an earthquake and then all the citizens are in trouble, immediately they come to their senses. They understand we have offended Balaram, and immediately they come and pacify. And how they pacify? They bring Samba and behind Lakshmana, and then first they put these two in the front of Balaram and then offers their prayers to him, and then the matter is settled. So, some of these styles of marriages are now forbidden in Kali Yuga. This love marriage, exchange of garlands, or kidnapping of the bride, all these are forbidden. So the marriages have to be arranged by the elders, and there has to be religious rituals, and that will be the ideal. But most importantly, both husband and wife should get more attached to serving the Supreme Lord. As much time as possible, they should save from their daily married activities and spend it, use it in enhancing their transcendental services to Krishna. There is no other goal. Being simply comfortable and happy in a material situation, a married situation, is not considered as an achievement. There are so many people may be like that, but that's not called an achievement. The real achievement is using this married environment and offering everything at the lotus feet of the Lord. That is called an achievement. Like Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he says that my Lord, my whole family, my wife, all these assets, everything, I am keeping, I am offering, I am surrendering at your lotus feet. And then so one should not increase his possessiveness in the family life, become more and more attached. This is not the purpose. The purpose is how that attachment can be utilized to develop our attachment to Krishna. If that is not done, then unnecessarily the life is simply wasted and trying to create some comforts in the family life. Both husband and wife running whole day just to enhance some few comforts and a few social symbols, status symbols for the whole life. This is not life. Social status means having a very good car or a great prestige in the society. Everybody should appreciate us by some means. This is the kind of goal. Whole family life is spoiled by such a comparative life. You compare with one more family or one more house, and then decide to make that as a goal of life. Now somehow I have to become more prominent than that family. I have to accumulate this, I have to accumulate this. This comparing with each other and then trying to develop our own life like that. It's called an envious life. Why should we be envious of other families? Uh, for whatever reason they are in that situation. Whatever reason I am in this situation. Either Grihastha life or Brahmachari life, this comparing and feeling envious is not the right attitude. One should become somehow Krishna has kept me in this position. Sthane sthita shuddhigatam tanuvan manobi. Okay, wherever I am situated today, let me focus on hearing about Krishna more and more. This is the most crucial point. We will not be able to practice any of these varnashrama rules and regulations in this age. All the brahmacharya, grihastha, all these ashramas, we may be using the words, but actually we will not be able to follow any of those Vedic regulations. The brahmacharya in the Vedic life ends at 25. And then he has to take a call that yes, I will remain Naistika, and then he can continue or he can move to marriage. Maximum that is 20, 25 is the life. And then so many regulations as a brahmachari. Gurukule Vasandanta, he has to live like a menial servant in the ashrama of Guru. All those things if he follows, that means he learns austerity. Little austerity. For example, this is summer. Let us say we are not in AC room, immediately there is a sweating and so many inconveniences. But devotees have no such worries. And for example, it is a little stuffy here, but still we are all sitting. Why? Because we are interested in something higher. So this tolerating inconvenience is called austerity. So the brahmachari learns a life of austerity. How I can take up this, he does menial services. Guru says, like Krishna was told, go and collect firewood from the forest. Small boys, and Krishna and Sudama, they go together to collect the firewood. Then by the arrangement of Yogamaya, there was big storm and rain and all that. They were caught up in the trees. They take shelter on top of a tree. Whole night they spend together. Cold. Both are young boys. They don't know where they are. That is the environment. And still they are thinking about their Guru and Guru's order to collect the firewood. This is brahmachari life. He has to learn a lot of austerities, understand what is the goal of life, and then prepare himself for further steps. Even if someone enters the Grihastha, there are so many regulations. All of them may not be possible. So that's why those principles are now applied in a Daivi Varnashrama. Ours is a Daivi Varnashrama, centering around Krishna and particularly hearing about Krishna, centering around hearing about Krishna. Our brahmacharya is preaching brahmacharya. Sannyas is a preaching brahmacharya. It's called karma sannyas. Everything is a preaching brahmacharya, preaching grihastha, preaching vanaprastha, and preaching sannyas. If there is no preaching, there is no hearing, and there is no preaching, then none of these ashramas make any sense. He will be just living like an ordinary person. So the first step is Shruti, hear nicely. Nicely you hear about Krishna. That gives you the potency to follow all the regulations connected to the social orders. And one should also do service, preach, and like that. If he continues his life like that, then he will become successful. Otherwise, we will be wasting this opportunity and increasing our embarrassment life after life. Any questions?
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Previously, when we were children and all, only one head of the family used to work and he used to support the entire family.
Yeah.
Nowadays the situation is even the two heads of the family is working also, it's getting difficult. They're unable to meet their demands of the family.
Yeah.
They're unable to give a good time, forgetting about just Krishna consciousness. They're unable to give time for children also.
Yeah.
This now as a society, the trend has shifted, Prabhu.
Yeah.
In the midst of all this entire society, if one family, if they want to come back to the roots of Krishna consciousness, what do they should do?
Actually, it is a prediction that this Kutumba Bharanena, maintenance of the family, in Kali Yuga, if somebody is able to maintain his family nicely, then he is considered a hero. It's very, very difficult it is. Very, very difficult. Why? Because in this age, there's so many options of enjoyment are offered by Maya. Now each family member wants all of this. Husband wants best mobile. So is the case with wife. And so is the case with the children. One child means one, two means two. Let us see, has some three. Nowadays, three is difficult to see. Say 3 kids means 3 mobile. So he has to invest on 5 mobiles. Now, best mobile means one mobile will be, say, I don't know which brand it is, say 30K, 40K. if they're fixed on Apple means then goes into lakhs. This is the scenario. Now to really get, now what one feels is that, no, this is natural, Prabhu. Without mobile, where is the life? It's a fact. We have created a life in such a way that without mobile you cannot live. So then mobile is required. Now to get 5 mobiles, minimum 1 lakh rupees. Now husband, how much is he getting? Say 30K, 40K per month. Wife also has to work. Another say 20, 30K. So now it is about 70K. Some 2-3 months they have to manage these mobiles. And if you tell the children, no, wait for another 1 or 2 months, they will cry. And wife will say, first you give it to me, then you wait for next month and next 2 months. Or the husband, you can see these are the dynamics of the day-to-day life of a householder today. The whole civilization is made so complex that even to live minimally, according to this civilizational standard, minimum life means you need to have mobiles and this and that. And then to maintain this, both husband and wife have to work and work. Now meanwhile comparison comes. He sees somebody is having car, somebody is there. Now in the midst of all this, let us say one family comes in touch with Krishna consciousness. And then they understand, yes, this is going to be my life. So when they want to practice, then a lot of Maya will come. This comparison is there, all those things are there, and then this the women nearby or the families nearby, they'll try to talk very minimizingly. See, the family, the Krishna conscious family, of course nowadays what is happening is, most of the families are independent, nobody bothers what happens in the nearby, at least in cities. Nobody cares. Opposite only what's happening, nobody knows. Mostly the father may not know what's happening in his own family. Prabhupada gives one example that the father goes early in the morning before the sun even gets up, and then he comes only in the midnight, and by then the sun sleeps. Like that, the child could not see the father for many years. They never met each other. This is very much possible case. This is the scenario. So, in that sense, in the city there is, everybody is independent. So, practicing Krishna consciousness is purely one's own initiative. You should spend time. Weekends you come. If you are nearby, you can come to the temple, attend some sadhana, Or if that is not possible, okay, in the house, do a small worship of Gaur Nitai, nicely practice your sadhana, spend time. And then if there is a desire to become big, you become big in chanting. If there is a desire to prosper, become prosperous in hearing about Krishna. If you want to accumulate wealth, accumulate Daivi Sampat, divine wealth. That means more and more good qualities you accumulate. Here also it is said the father gives charity of the girl to the boy. Now what is this charity? Because the girl is so qualified, so divine, invaluable for anybody to lose her. So it can only be a charity. The father will not give for any money. But why is he giving? Just he is giving charity for the further future progress of both the souls. So this is the so invaluable. Even Kardamuni will see in this and next one or two shlokas, he appreciates our qualities. So this is seeing the truth means in others. We have to see the qualities in others, not some bodily features. What are the qualities? Particularly the Daivi Sampad. What are those wonderful qualities in the other person? We should recognize. It's a bestowed upon that jiva by Krishna for because of his destiny, his or her destiny. One should recognize the qualities. So we see Kadhamuni recognizes the qualities, and so these are the some of the. So in cities, it's all up to the family how much they can time invest in all that. So Prabhupada gives one simple principle that simplify your life. Don't complicate, simplify your life. Brahmachari's life is completely simplified, particularly if he is living in the mission. Very simple. We have to, as soon as we get up from the bed, we don't have to think where to work, where to get money and this and that. We are simply focusing on our sadhana, improving our services. At part of our service, we may go out and ask for money and this and that, but that's that devotees enjoy. That's a different type of a mechanism. That is not a struggle of maintenance. That is a transcendental service to Krishna. So simplified. So similarly, Grihasthas, they should ensure that they simplify their lives. That is a principle, but how to simplify that? Husband and wife, family, they all have to sit together and simplify. Generally, we compare with other families in terms of dresses, in terms of vehicles, in terms of the house and all those things. All these comparisons you take, and in those areas you simplify. Minimize your dresses. And like for example, I asked one person, not asked, he told me that it's a pride for him. He is telling that he has got some, I think, half a dozen cupboards full of dresses for himself, and then for his wife another half a dozen and for children. So it's like just to keep the cupboards you need one big row, big hall. that is the kind. So they take pride in all these things. That's fine, but then you have to see how much time is going in maintaining those cupboards. It's not that you just keep a cupboard and leave it, then it'll all be dusty. So you need maintenance of all those. So you need one housemaid or somebody oversee her, give her salary. You see what a cycle of work it is. But let us say you simplify your life. Everything you are able to do, manage quickly and save time. Chant 16 rounds nicely, peacefully. And honestly, you work for 8 to 10 hours. Satisfy your immediate bosses and immediate authorities in your company, and then worship the Lord happily. That's the life. And then how much ever Krishna gives in this honest endeavor, that is considered his mercy, his prasad, and then use that and then run your divine family. Then that also becomes service to the Lord. Like that, everywhere a devotee has to see how to bring in an element of Krishna consciousness. But one should know, before we wind up this discussion, one should know that in this age, all these idealistic situations are not there. One has to be very realistic about about the boy or about the girl or about the family lives. One should be very realistic, understand what is what, and then accordingly one has to take a call. Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.